Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me. This is Sanyukta Saxena and we are already down a couple of tiles in our twin tangle series wherein we pick out chits and draw two tangles per tile, and the tangles I'm trying to pick them up randomly and they are tangled a little out of my comfort zone. So let's now shuffle, and again I'm going to pick out two chits. Yeah, so let's get started with today's session. This tangle is called Ynix and Paradox. Oh wow, this would be an interesting combination because Vinex is a kind of a nature inspired floral tangle and Paradox is totally line based. So this will be interesting. Let's get started with today's session. So I am going to be starting with a simple string, and first draw these curved lines. You can either divide your tile into 4 so that you can ensure some kind of a symmetry there, like this. Yes, so I have divided my tile into 4, and then you can get rid of unwanted lines. So roughly this is the string, and I'm going to be starting with paradox in the center, and then we shall build upon the tile. So I have not really planned what to do with the rest of the tile, but let's first start with paradox in the center. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is ink my plus sign which we started with. Then I'm going to give a nice curve. Yes. So now inside each of these sections, I'm just getting rid of the unwanted lines here so that, yeah. Yes. So let's start with our tangle paradox. It's very important to aura the line or the curved line, straight line or curved line, whatever it is, closely. And also it is very important to keep rotating your tile like this. Yes. So slowly rotate aura closely. Start from that point and then deviate a little. Create a small angle as you reach the other end. Tangle paradox, an excellent meditation, a simple pattern to draw, mostly line work, but looks beautiful. And then there is no need, after a certain stage, there is no need to rotate your tile. Yes, now it is up to you. If you want to complete this flower, then it would be nice to start like this, else you can draw it clockwise also. Yeah, so depends the pattern that you will form with the tangle paradox, depends on whether you are drawing it clockwise or anti-clockwise, or you are mixing and drawing your lines in both directions. Every time it will form a different meta pattern. Slowly take your time. Just a small angle towards the end, and after a certain point you can do without rotating, like this. Yeah, now if you want to continue with this flower, Then I will start like this. Slowly, don't haste up, be patient, take your time. Keep rotating your tile, just a small angle towards the end of the straight or the curved line. Slowly. Which direction to draw the lines, I am deciding on the basis of what meta pattern I want. If I want to complete the flower, I am going in one direction. If I don't want to complete the flower and draw the fan in a different direction, then I would draw the lines differently. So in case you are new to the Tangle paradox, I have done whole series on the Tangle paradox. I have also tutorials on how you can play around with the Tangle paradox. So you might want to have a look. They are older videos, but they will help you get acquainted with this tangle. Slowly take your time. Like this. Yes. So we are done with our paradox. Now let us see what can we do in the rest of the space. So I am going to be drawing Ynix now, but with a slight variation. I am going to draw it on stems. So when you draw your Ynix on stem, it somewhat becomes similar to a tangle, tangle called safflower, but not exactly. I am drawing Ynix. However, I am drawing it on a stem. That's the Tangle Ynix. Small little insecticide in between. Just add that extra dash of ink, and then you just have to go around and add an aura all around. Like this. Yes, so that's the Tangle Ynix. Let us go ahead and add more. So I'm going to now it is already a floral tangle, but drawing it in this fashion gives it a little more delicate look. You can draw as many petals as you wish to. I'm going with whatever spaces I have. Auraing is an integral part of this Tangle Ynix. And it is also important if we want to so I'm going to draw behind. So drawing it in this fashion gives you that liberty to place it wherever you want, whichever way you want. Yes, and that's why I thought I will draw my Ynix on stems. Slowly take your time. Adding an aura will also help you add some black in the background if you wish to. Draw it whichever way you wish to. like this. Well, if you don't want to place it on stems, then you can always draw it the way it is usually drawn. As I mentioned, these stems give me an extra opportunity to place it the way I wish to. Slowly, take your time. Beautiful petal rice shapes or seed shapes. Again, let's draw more. I'm going to add stems coming from all sides. Take your time. Yes. And add an aura. Let's add some more. A nice combination of a totally geometric or line based pattern with a floral tangle Ynix. Yes, so we can add as many as we wish. So if you want, you can draw behind. Just add some stems. We can draw behind here. Not necessary that all have to be complete. Something like this. Yes, we can place one odd here which is not totally seen. The stem is not seen. Something like this. Take your time. You can add one hidden here. Draw behind. Drawing behind can be little tricky, so you have to be a little careful. It's always a good idea, gives lot of shading opportunity, enhances the look of your tile instantly. Drawing behind, you can just add some random stems if you wish, seen here and there with nothing at the ends. Like this. Add one or two more. Probably a smaller flower here, seen partly. Yes, something like this. Now go back to your Vinex and add a little bit of ink at these places. Where the petals are joining. Adds a little extra character. You can add something inside the petals also. We shall see what do we want to do right now. I'm just going to stop here first and then we can see what else do we want to do. Probably one hidden one here. I'm trying to add as many so that we don't have to ink too much space, because I wish to ink the remaining space, because as you can see there is no drama as such on this tile, and that drama will come only when you ink the spaces. So when you want to ink the spaces, just make sure you don't have too much of it, right? So now I'm going to ink the remaining black space to add that drama. So let's get started. If you want, one simple thing that you can do is add these orbs in between. That will again, these are hacks to reduce your inking space, and it looks nice. It's a simple orb, no tangle, but it will enhance the look of your tile and it will also reduce your inking space. Yes, simple things that you can do to add to the look of your tile. Let's add a hidden stem here also. Yes, and now I'm going to go ahead and ink the rest of the space. So this is going to take some bit of time, so you have to be patient and slowly, preferably use a finer nib, because you don't want the stems to go black, and the stems are pretty thin and delicate. So using a finer nib, at least when close to the stem, is a good idea. And then larger spaces, you can always use a bolder nib. Carefully, since we are not going to add any other tangle, I'm inking to get that drama. You can also alternatively ink your Ynix and not ink the background to add that drama, right? So just add another aura inside the petals and then ink that aura. So that will also add that much required drama to your tile. So go slow, take your time, and with patience ink the remaining spaces on your tile. Try not to enter inside the stems, the delicate stems that we drew for our Ynix. They should be white. Yes. So while inking, I realized that even if I don't ink all the spaces and leave some of the places empty like this in patches, even then it is looking nice. Yes. So I left some of the places empty, and we shall see if we want to entirely ink it at the end. So I'm moving on to the next section now, and slowly and carefully inking the space in between the Ynix like this. So if you want to leave certain spaces empty, let's leave it now, and if we want to come back and ink it, we can always do that later. Yes, so even this is looking pretty nice and dramatic, so I thought let's do that. I'm going to continue like this. You take your own time, draw at your own pace, ink at your own pace. Use a bolder nib if you want to. You can see how these orbs add so much contrast. Slowly take your time. Yes, let's ink some more spaces to. So I have completed inking 2 sections, moving on now to the third. While inking also, if you think you want to add some more stems or flowers, you can always do that. So as I mentioned, first I had thought that I will ink the entire negative spaces in between my flowers, but now I like it that way, with some whites here and there and not inking the entire thing. Slowly take your time, be patient, take a walk, stretch yourself, stretch your hands. Enjoy the process of your tile going black from white. So I'm going to go on like this, slowly fill in that black in whatever spaces I feel like and leave some of the spaces empty. So I'm now inking the last few sections, almost finished with my inking. So if you think some of the spaces you need some more, for example, I can draw the hidden line here and then ink this space. If certain sections are too big, then you can always add some more stems, divide it into further sections, leave some empty and ink the rest. Yes, so that's what I'm doing here. Slowly take your time. And that's it. We are done. Yes. So I'm going to leave it here and first shade, and then we shall see if we want to add something more. We can always go back and do that. Just adding a little extra ink to the orbs wherever required. Let's now first shade our paradox. So I'm going to add shadow here and where the lines seem to be going under, over, places from where lines are emerging, merging. Those are the places where you would add your graphite. Yes, let's shade this much first. Make sure the whites are visible. So that's how we would shade our paradox. Make sure the whites are clearly visible. Let's now move on to our Ynix. So one thing that you can do is keep the Ynix as such and just add shadow in the remaining part of the tile. And we can just add some thatching, or what we call enhatching, to our Ynix. Yes, so what is already there on your stub can be very comfortably used to make the rest of your tile gray, but this is optional. And then use a fine nib to just add very fine lines on your Ynix, something like this. Yes, looks delicate and beautiful. Let's do that for all. I'm not pushing my pen at all, using very light pressure and doing that for my Ynix. Wherever, whatever space, like this. Yes, let's do that in the next section. So there is graphite on my stuff, so I'm just using that, or you can just add a dash of graphite and use it to make the in between sections which you have not inked, make them gray. Again, doing the same exercise on my Ynix. Very delicate strokes. Take your time. Like this. Yes. So I'm going to do exactly the same in these two sections also. Just add some graphite if there is not enough on your stub. Make the white gray, like this. Now if you want to redo some of the lines, the stems, you can always go back and do that. Revisit some of the lines, the stems which may have gone hazy because of shading. You can always do that. And that's it. That's Ynix and Paradox together. Well, you can always add embellishments, as I always do. You can add black pearls floating on your Paradox also. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to put in my chop somewhere, sitting cozily. Yes, always sign and date your tile. I shall see you again with few more sessions. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.